Good day. I just want to quickly discuss with you guys the new look that I'm presenting my selections for you. First of all, I just want to, although I'm saying here on top I'm the king of tipsters, in the pure sense, I'm not a tipster, but everybody perceive me as a tipster. But I am a form analyzer. What I do is I analyze form. And through analyzing the form, my speciality is outsiders. I know how to read form in order to find outsiders. So I'm not your normal tipster that's going to tip you his first three selections. Because my selections that I give, the first selection I normally give, as you can see here on my lid, it says here, win play selection, first number outright winner. My first number is always the horse that I think will win the race, and that can be at any price. Then my second selection is the outsiders, and I don't put them in any particular order. That's two outsiders per race that I think can either win or place. Now remember, it's not all about winning because not every race can be won by outsider. But what you want is from me is that one or two horses that I think can finish in the placings so that if you play a quartet, trifecta, swingers, exactas, or whatever, or even your place accumulator, and those horses do arrive, then you're going to get the bigger dividend. That is the whole purpose of Outsider Genie. Some people perceive me as a tipster, and then I say, "Oh, have a look at your bets." But what I'll do is just now I've made drawn up some statistics which I will discuss with you just now once I've finished with here. So let's start here at the top. Obviously, I'm going to give you the venue and the date. Then I give you recommended all to come bets, which you can take as all to comes. Or I know a lot of you guys, you like to play your Yankees. So you might want to perhaps take those four horses in a Yankee. It's going to cost you, it's 11 combinations. You can play them for R5. And sometimes I think if you get the odds like here at 17 to 2, at 19 to 2, it might be to your advantage to maybe to play them also for places. So to back up your Yankee, if they don't win, then at least you collect the places, getting some of your money back. So you can either play them as is, or you can play them in a Yankee, or maybe add on one of your horses, and then you've got a Canadian. Or if you add on another two horses, you've got a Heinz. A Canadian is 57 combination, and a Heinz is 120 combination. That is seven horses. A Canadian, Canadian is five horses. A Heinz is six horses, and a Super Heinz is seven horses. That's 120 combinations. So if you take five horses or seven horses and you play them in Heinz, play them R5, it's going to cost you R600. Now let's move on to the section which I think is the most important sections. The most important section. A lot of you guys like to play your quartets, trifectas, and exactas. So what I've done now, I'm giving you my first selections as I've just explained to you. But then I've added a exacta component. Now, first of all, I've always said to guys, take these three numbers and put them in a trifecta box. It's going to cost you 10 Rand. You could say for 10 Rand, you get 1.66%. One day I took these three horses for 10 Rand. I put them in a trifecta. The trifecta won, and the trifecta paid 2,500 Rand. So I got it 1.66%. So I got quite, I think it was like four grand for an outlay of 10 Rand. Or if you want to spend, listen, maybe you want to play trifecta, you've got 24 bucks, then you can play these four numbers in a trifecta. Or maybe you can play a trifecta for 60 Rand, five horses box, and then the quartet, you can play that. You can play, maybe if you want, you can play even this trifecta, a box quartet as well. That will be 120 Rand. Or if you want to play the quartet, six horses box, that's 360. But if you want to play the same numbers in a trifecta, those five numbers, they will cost you 120 Rand. And I often see that the quartet selection, sometimes I miss the quartet, but I do get the trifecta in this between this six numbers. So that is what you want to do. Or you can just look at my numbers, see what I've got, and maybe you got one or two selections, and you add that into your selections. That is what Outsider Genie does. And then also for your convenience, I've now added the race times here so that you can check on your sheet what time the race closes, that you don't always have to go back to the race card, but you will have it right in front of you here. In here, I give you the daily value bets, and I will discuss this now, just now, about my daily value. And I always recommended play this each way. The other day, I had a horse, and that horse yesterday nearly won Taraveda. But 2 runs back, Taraveda ran, I think, third, paying R9.60 for a place. And I can't remember the horse's name. I've got it on the list. The other day, another horse that I suggested paid R6.50 for a place. So that's always a good thing to play this each way. And then maybe you also want to, then maybe you can also use this horses to draw up or put in, maybe add on 2 horses of your choice, and then also play a nice Yankee, or you can put in the best bet of the day. Now, I want to just say with the best bet of the day, I refuse to give you the best bet of the day, 8 to 10, 7 to 20s, because you can find that yourself. What I do is I give you something that is value. Now, I mean, finding Grimaldi as a best bet in your play is not difficult. But what I sometimes find from people is they just want confirmation that somebody else has also agreed that that's a good bet. So you might run through your card, and you might also think Grimaldi is a best bet, is a good bet. And then you get my selections, and you see that I also go for the same horse, and then that just confirm your choice, because people are always looking, I want to punt this horse, but what do you think? They want an opinion from you, or an expert. They want a thing from experts. Right. Then we move down to the pick six selections. Now, guys, I cannot tell you how many times that I went out with one leg. Now, what I'm doing is here, I'm giving you guys an affordable pick six for 1%. Now, you can play that as you like, or you can add on, because I don't know how much you want to spend. So this is like a framework where you can add on, and maybe you can find that one horse. Like yesterday, I had a reel in this one leg, and he got beaten on the line by Barak. I never had Barak, and that's where I went out with the pick six. All right. So that is, so you can then add on. And then, guys, I want to seriously advise you. I don't know how many times people have lost the pick six in the last leg. I would rather go out earlier in a pick six, but I refuse. Even if there's a 7 to 10 shot in the pick six, I always play the field, because if I have survived 5 legs and I get to the last race, all I want to worry about is how much I'm going to collect. I don't want to still worry if I'm going to collect. So for me personally, I always put in the field. And I've seen sometimes I've broken my rule, and then I go through and I get to the last leg, and then some other bomb throw me out, and then I'm so angry with myself that I didn't put the field, because that is my rule. Put the field. As a matter of fact, when I play a quartet, I also like to play quartets. And when I play my quartets, I play multiple quartets. And I always put a field in the fourth leg of the quartet, because if that bomb arrives for fourth, I want that horse in order to get the better play. But that's just me. That's how I like to play. Then I've decided that in the future, my format for the PA will always be like that. I will chuck in my outsider selection and one of the favorites, maybe a first or a second or a third favorite, working out to 64. Then on that 64 rand, you can build from that. You can now add on maybe where I've got my banker, and then maybe you want to add something on. But I've seen lately, and a few of these 64s, pick six of mine, has been arriving on Saturday. I think it paid 160 rand, and we had it twice for 64 rand. So we collected over 200 rand for a layout of 64 rand. It's not a lot of money, but as they say, a win is a win. So that is then the selections, how you can utilize my selections, in trying to make money. Then I also want to share with you the following. I did set this, and over the weekend I sat and I I did this exercise and I took all my selections for January. First of all, I took my best bet selections. I will give this as a attachment. I will attach this so then you can go through it at your leisure. Where I had every horse that I tipped, I put on a list. And as you can see, if it's green like this, this was a winner. And I see here, this was the only time that I tipped the even money. But if you can have a look at my other horses, that is won 3-1, 14-10, 2-1, 5-1, 19-10. Now, I did a summary of this. In total, there was 52 selections. Of this, 11 won, which is 54%. But remember now, I don't tip favorites 8-10, 9-10. If I did that, that strike rate would probably have been much higher. Now, of those selections, finished in the first two, the best bet was 46% of the time. So by using my best bet, and my best bet is not just for you to punt as a best bet. You can also add that into your play, so that when you add my best bet into your play, you are guaranteed, well, you're sure that nearly 50% of the time it will finish in the first two. In the first three, it finished 68%. And then, guys, if that same selection finished in the first four, which again, you utilize it in quartets and so on, 87% of my best bet finished in the first four. Only 12%, 4 of them out of 32, finished unplaced. And then there was one scratch best bet. Surely, if you look at the stats, it tells you that my selections are good. I would like to see other tips, things, and taking in that my selections are not always the favorite. Then what I also did was I did the same thing with my each way bets. So what I did was I said, okay, let's put work on the basis. I put 100 Rand win and 100 Rand place on the tote. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to go back here. I forgot to mention this. So if you have a look here, that means I've placed 32 bets, because if we use 100 Rand unit, this is what I would have, your profit would have been 1,400 Rand on that. Okay, it would have given you a turnover for the month for 3,200. In other words, 132 selections at 100 Rand is 32, and it gave you a profit of 1,470. Then I did the same, but here I said, okay, let's put 100 Rand for win and 100 Rand for a place. And then I worked it out. The turnover was 12.4, the last 7, the win, and so the profit was 2.3. At one stage, that profit was nearly 4,000 Rand, but then I hit a bad spot where here at the end, where I had a few runners that didn't ran unplaced, and that brought the total down. But still, the results did amaze me. Of the 62 selections, 50% were unplaced. First selections 9.6%, second selection 9.6%. Finish in the first two, 19.2%. Finish in the third three, 58%, and finish in the first four, 48%, so nearly 50%. So that means if you use my each way bet, maybe not just always for punting, but including my each way bet in your other bets, you got a 50% chance that that horse will do a finish in the first four. So surely if you guys look at this stats, it does prove that my selections that I give are valuable and is usable. In other words, you can use my selections in confidence that you know at least there's a very good chance that that selection will either win or place. And that is what I would like to bring to the table, is so that when you use Outsider Genie, you do know that the results that I get is favorable for you, in terms of that you can say, listen, okay, I'm going to use this. I've got, if I use this best bet in my quartets and trifectas, I've got a 87% chance that that horse will finish in. So then you take that horse, you add on your own selections, because that's what I always preach. You take my selection and you add them in what you like. So adding my selections in terms of the best bet, you know there's an 87% chance that that horse will finish in the first four. Or if you use my each way value bets every day, there's a 50% chance that those horses will finish in the first four. So I just wanted to share this with you. I hope this gives you a little bit more insight in how to utilize my selections in terms of finding value and getting the value and getting the upping your strike rates and making the money. Thank you for listening.